Welcome, dirty peasants, to episode 51 of Wartwood Gazette, the Amphibia podcast. This week we'll be covering Amphibia Season 3, Episode 13, Mother of Olms and Grime's Pupil. I'm your host, Thembaticon, and joining me today we have Sunsfury,
Hey.
Pixels,
The peoples.
and Nick.
What's up, y'all?
Alright, so, news this week. Matt made a few interesting tweets about the upcoming Amphibia Art Nucleus event. He mentioned that it's going to feature material from future episodes, and the poster they're giving out will have some mild spoilers on it too at the time it comes out. So he doesn't seem too worried by it, but I'm guessing it's just going to show stuff that's going to appear in the finale. But hopefully it's not too big of a spoiler, and we can just treat it as a, I guess, promotional material. And in other news, we also had, like, before this episode aired, Mother of Olms and Grime's Pupil, Disney released, I think, we got the normal YouTube TV thumbnail that had Mother of Olms, and then also I think D23 released like another still like featuring the Mother of Olms. So we pretty much got like a look of her design like 2 days before, and then I think the day before the episode aired, they released like the first minute of the segment with like Whoopi Goldberg talking and interacting with the planners, and they did the same thing for RuPaul and Anika. I'm pulling up the name. Anika Noni Rose, when she showed up as Dr. Jan and Mr. X for RuPaul. So yeah, when the big name celebs come on the show, Disney really wants to showcase that. Which, I mean, spoilers, and I guess there's a trade-off, but I guess as like fans of the show, we'd probably prefer going in dark, like Matt and the crew have been trying to do, especially with their promotional material and like their own like mini poster teasers, which we can talk about once we get into the episode. Okay, I think that's all the news this week, and usually we cover the episode first segment, second segment, but this week we're going to cover Grime's Pupil first before Mother of Olms, just because Mother of Olms revealed some stuff that we'll probably talk a lot about near the end. Okay, so Grime's Pupil was directed by Jen Strickland, written by Adam Colas, and storyboards by Drew Applegate and Eddie West. So this episode was as the title suggested, was the Grime episode. That was teased by Matt, I think, back in the Cartoon Universe interview. And Beatrix, Grime's sister, came over with her Toad resistance to meet up with Sasha and try and form an alliance. But Beatrix isn't too impressed by frogs, and Sprig brought up his battle against Grime, and one thing led to another, and then all of a sudden Grime challenged Beatrix to a duel, and we'll get into like the rules later, but basically she has to fight Sprig, and Sprig has to beat her to get the Toads to join their army. And this was a fantastic episode. I mean, like,
Very fun.
Grime could have been like, I think Matt mentioned that this would be like an unusual, it's like the person you'd least expect, but like now that we found out it was Sprig, it's kind of like the perfect the perfect team up episode. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this episode was hilarious. It advanced some of the alliances that the Frog Rebellion needed to kind of like build up enough strength to go against Andreas. It just it was so good. Like I mean, even the joke. Like we'll get into like the comedy later, but yeah, just a fantastic episode. And yeah, that's all I can say for now. I guess starting with Nick, what are your thoughts on Grime's Pupil?
okay,
Oh,
where do we start?
oh, I,
Right.
oh wait, sorry, I don't think Nick's. I think Nick's AFK, but I forgot to mention Sunsfury. Since you weren't on for the first few episodes of 3B, like I'm sure you want to talk about. Okay, like I'll let you talk about Sasha. Go ahead.
Okay, Nick's back now as well.
Go ahead.
Oh goodness. Okay, I like how season 3B has been starting up. Everybody wants me to rant about Sasha apparently, so here we go. I think new character design is great. I like how the kind of the greens and stuff that's been added to her classic reds really disrupt basically her old character design, so you can really clearly delineate between old Sasha and new Sasha. I think that's really important to have now that she's being an actually moderately healthy individual and being reasonably nice. I like I like how all of the recent episodes have been here's a whole bunch of character developments, here's people interacting with each other, but always in a backdrop of the resistance taking the next step. And I think that's really important, especially now we're in the end game. We need to see these things keep on moving. And we do, which is great. And so that when all of a sudden the final battle comes and there's all these different people that have been roped in by the rebellion, we don't go, wait a minute, when did that happen? I don't see how that managed to happen. They're just saying, oh yeah, here's all the people we managed to round up when you weren't looking. No, these are the people that they managed to round up while we were looking and other things were happening. So I like that. I like the tiara. I like a lot of things that have been going on. And I really like the new Amphibia, like the planet Amphibia aesthetic, in how almost all of the surface world is in far more reds and greys and browns than it used to be, which really helps sell the Andreas is doing bad things to the planet, yo, maybe this is bad, and not really healthy long term, which compared to the greens and blues and some browns, yes, of the old Amphibia we knew and loved.
All right, thank you, Sunsfury. So going back to Grime's Pupil, I guess I wanted to start off with Nick because usually I leave him last. But what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
the segment?
I mean, I thought it was really just like an all around fantastic episode and just a really fun time, like start to finish. Like lots of great moments here from Spring Grime. Like I trying to think about all the things I want to say here, but yeah, I don't know. There's just like a lot to unpack from this episode. Like, not only is it like a really funny one, it's also just great to see these two sort of break down the arbitrary boundaries that are between frogs and toads, right? Like the whole racial divide between them. So I thought it was just like, man, I don't know. There's just so much good to this episode I want to talk about, but yeah, I mean, I'll just say like, probably I think I don't know if I'd say this is one of my favorite episodes, but it's definitely up there, right? Like they really outdid themselves with this one.
All right, thank you, Nick. Pixels, what are your thoughts on Grime's Pupil?
Really fun episode. The very dynamic between Sprague and Grime are really hilarious, and shout out to Troy Baker who who's Grime voices in any expression of what the character's conveying is like how it's meant to be with the tone. Um, The fight was pretty fun. I liked how we saw Sasha's cheerleading outfit, like actually doing the dance. Like either like she most likely made her own since she didn't have her she didn't bring it with her. Um, there's this one part where Grimes said out loud, like, "How did I lose to him?" It's like it's like you can like fathom over it. It's just it's really great episode. Good episode.
All right, thank you, Pixels. Sunsfury, what are your thoughts on this segment?
Grime's pupil slapped way too hard. Like, I was not prepared for how good it was. I think one of the highlights of the episode was the crew just playing around with the physicalities of Grime and Sprig and just messing around with the fact that they're both frog. One's a frog, one's a toad, but they are both characters that are reasonably flexible in terms of their actual character, just like in terms of their form and shape. They can you can stretch Grime and Sprig around and make these people into really weird poses, which you can't do for a human because it just looks incredibly wrong. And I think some of the greatest moments in Grime's people are when they just kind of do really weird things, like the eye-staring competition between Grime and Sprig, or when Sprig leans over the back of his head and just yells off at Grime. I think those are some great moments that are just sold so well because they're just stretchy characters.
All right, thank you, Sunsfury. And like starting off the episode starts off with like Anne and Sasha in the planning room, and I like how this is where Anne brings up how Sprig beat Grime, and Grime is like super like annoyed by that. And the moment like Sasha realizes her mistake, like they both immediately like rush out. And
That was a perfect start to this episode.
I do love that Sasha has somehow managed to completely not notice this happening at all.
Oh
This is
yeah.
all news to her, the fact that there's this rivalry going on. And being, of course, the heart is just like, wait, hold up, didn't you know this already? This is a kind of important news. They hate each other.
yeah, and she sent them out specifically to like show like the frog toad alliance to Beatrix who's coming by, and when you think about it, it's like I think she understands that like Sprig can be like a friendly guy, and like that's why she sent him out there. And then like but she sent out I guess sending out Grime, like like his sister. I guess she kind of she tried to rationalize it, and you can kind of see where she's coming from, but it's like sending Grime as a representative is a good decision. Sending Sprig out as a representative is also a good decision. Sending them both out is a terrible idea.
That's hilarious conclusions.
And then like we cut to like when we cut back to Grime and Sprig, it's like I like how Grime is so like upset, and then Sprig is just like drawing something with a stick on the ground. But then like the moment they start talking, like Sprig immediately starts roasting the hell out of him.
Like out of the blue, right?
He's a spiteful little bugger when he wants to be. It's great to see. And one of the great things is that Sprig kind of just like isn't wrong at all. Like,
Rig is really honest.
he's honest, he's straight, he's upfront, and like, these are bad things that you did. Yes, I should be mad at you. And yeah, he kind of has good reason.
Yeah, I love that. Like, because Grime tries to Grime tries to equate like oppression, attempted murder, all to a child prank. Like, like shut the fuck up, Grime. I just love Sprig just throwing that back in his face. Yeah, you tried to kill my grandpa, man. Like, that was just so good.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we'll cover we'll cover the episode as we go along. But yeah, that I just love the. I think even in this scene, Sprig mentioned that he mentioned that Grime is basically like a foot soldier now in Sasha's rebellion, and like technically he's not wrong on that either.
Dude, that just sucks. He went from like Toad Lord to Foot Soldier. Like, Grime, what a fall, dude. What happened? Yeah.
And then yeah, and then Beatrix. Oh, first Sasha and Anne arrive to try and stop things, but then Beatrix arrives, and we get the normal sibling stuff with 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 Beatrix and Grime, and yeah, that's pretty funny. I like the beetle they came on was like kind of armored up, and I don't know, I just thought that was
the
cool.
beetle chopper is so cool.
Yeah, it was
Nigerian
like a
guys,
helicopter.
so.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I just love the.
Yeah.
That.
Like, it's. God.
Oh yeah, they treat it like a helicopter entrance, and then like
Yeah.
her coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the clip again. Oh, she doesn't just come down; she just like jumps, lunges at Grime, and noogies him.
Straight
Poor
tackle.
guy.
Mhm.
He was probably
I don't
bullied all
know.
from. He was probably bullied all from childhood, wasn't he?
Yeah, sibling stuff. And then yeah, Sasha and I think Uzbek's mentioned it in our discussions. Like, Anne is pretty much like Sasha's secretary for all this rebellion planning. Like, she's right there by her, like helping her out, and like plays the drumroll app.
Yeah, they have this partnership thing down, and it's fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And then yeah, Beatrix is unimpressed by Sprig, and then that's when Sprig has like the most smug face on, like whilst Beatrix is talking, like he's just ready to like bring up the fact that he beat Grime, and then Grime's just like begging him not to.
He's like, please, no, come on, don't do
On
it.
his knees, like, no.
Yeah, and then Beatrix, yeah, immediately starts bullying Grime about it too, and yeah, and she's unimpressed, and then she's about to leave, and then that's when Grime, the thing he does, like the toad, like this toad challenge thing, it kind of reminded me of what he did in what happened in Reunion, where he draws a circle around him, Beatrix, and then like that's kind of what
Dude.
happened in Reunion, where like they had like a circle of toads around Anne and Sasha. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did
it's
say
very
like,
much.
didn't he say like the Toad fashion way or something?
Yeah, back in
Pretty sure he
Reunion.
said that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely an intentional callback because, well, he's invoking trial by combat, effectively.
Right, and then that's when Beatrix kind of uses the oh, I liked how when he just punches like the toad like soldier like next to him to grab the sword. And then does like the weird like mouth thing and whatever, and uh Beatrix brings up some sort of like war cl- Oh, you're watching the clip?
Sorry, I just realized what you're talking about. Yeah, he totally did. What an asshole!
Yeah, he just punches like a dude off screen.
Like, why? He just grab the sword out of his hand, but he just punches him for no reason.
Don't worry, he gets it. The guard gets it back. The guard just knocks it out from under him.
Yeah, that was good on him. Like, Grime was a jerk for that.
Right, and then like Beatrix brings up some sort of like war cause where she can challenge anyone in his alliance, and then basically like decides to fight Sprig.
Mhm.
So yeah, like she heads off, and I like how everyone's like kind of horrified, and then Sprig's just like standing there like just with some normal like derpy face. and
Mhm.
and yeah, he's like totally he's completely like sure of himself. He can that he can take down Beatrix. Like I just loved how confident he was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
And then,
it's,
oh, go ahead.
no, it's very iconic Sprig. Mm.
Yeah, and then like Grime's pretty sure that he can't take on Beatrix, and he calls Beatrix like one of the toughest toad in Amphibia, which is, I mean, that only increases that only heightens the win that Sprig gets later on, but
Makes the dub even bigger.
yeah, and yeah, Grime brings up, or Sasha brings up, that Grime was in the gladiator and was a gladiator, and he should train Sprig, and both of them are like immediately against this idea. But of course, Sasha and Anne pretty much like write a decree, which is somehow like
I love-
super official, and was official enough for like Grime and Sprig to agree. Oh, because or else they get banished, which is also like another conditional offer where it's like until the war starts.
Yeah, I love the I love the decree. It's just done so like officially and everything, all pompously, and it's funny. It's funny, and then Sasha signs it with emojis.
Yeah, and then
It's utterly ridiculous.
yeah, like that was yeah, that was just so weird. It's just funny, and then we also get the close up of Sasha threatening to banish them, and I think she had like she's had some sort of like extreme close up every week.
Yeah, I don't know. They just love doing out of Sasha.
And
Can you blame them?
yeah, so I like how they have Sprig and Grime kind of walk off all grumpy, and then it continues into the woods where they both have the exact same like expression while walking, and then they get into like that staring. It's the kind of like dumb stuff that happened in Cordler's Pass, where it's just like Polly and Sprig like slapping each other. Like this kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah. God, it's so funny. Like when they just shove like their faces into each other. That's so hilarious.
Yeah, and this was one of the promotional like that was the YouTube thumbnail. It was just like Grimes like green pupil, just comedically large.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Sunsfury, you mentioned, yeah, since they're like frogs and toads, like they can make the characters like faces more elastic. And
Which works in a way because you've seen other shows do that before. Clarence is a good example. Craig Craig is another example.
right, yeah, it just makes it more like entertaining, and
Yeah. See, I'm glad they're doing the faces. Oh, go ahead.
Also, can I point out that Anne's reaction to they have to do this or be exiled forever is tough but fair.
oh right, yeah, she's just like once Sasha makes like the until the war starts, then yeah, Anne is in agreement.
I think she was in agreement even before that.
Yeah,
Honestly.
maybe. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, and then yeah, so Sprig's just like, fine, teach me some of these toad tactics, and yeah, we get that quick like we get the scene of like Grime trying to train Sprig in the toad way, and it's not working out too well. Like Sprig can't carry those buckets, and gets. I like how every like interaction between Sprig and Grime physically is just like a little squeaky toy noise, and especially the part where like they do the they do the ab punches, like Grime hits Sprig and just hear like a squeaky
Oh my
noise, and then
God.
I just like all the sound effects.
Spring's sound effects are on point.
Very
All of his
good.
yells as well
the yelling, the faces he makes when he yells.
I'm
So
I'm
motherly.
I'm rewatching the ab punching scene. Damn, Grime is polarized, but like his fist is bigger than Sprig's entire body. Dude, holy shit! Like he didn't hold back. Oh, Jesus! He just takes up his whole body when he punches it. How is Sprig still alive after that? Like,
And I like how when like Sprig fails the punch, like fails the ab punch, like Grime just gives him this like look of disappointment, and like the camera's angled below him, and then it just like shows him like putting his fist together, like, and then you just
yeah.
know Sprig's like done. Yeah, and then oh yeah, you guys talked about it earlier, but yeah, that whole scene about Grime and Sprig, like Grime trying to equate the poison ivy joke with like I love how Spring brings up like everything Grime has done to Wartwood, like where it's like you like extorted us for years, imprisoned us when we fought back, and tried to kill my hop pop. Like I just like the escalation.
Yeah, the Grime's like, oh, you pranked me this one time. See, Grime, it's equal. Like, we're even, Spring.
Incredibly even.
Jesus.
And then yeah, later on, Grime's like he was a political liability as like his defense. Yeah, and then like Grime is like unimpressed by Sprig after all those like challenges, or after all those toe tactics, and Sprig just like he just goes off on his own. Yeah, and then like you guys mentioned it earlier. Like Grime just sits down. He's like, I don't care. He's gonna go away. I'm just gonna sit here and just do whatever. And then he just like shouts out in anguish about how he got like jumped by Sprig in True Colors.
We just keep on playing it up and keep on playing it up, and it just doesn't lose its quality. Just the absolute resentment on each side.
It kind of, like for those of you who watched like the 2003 Ninja Turtles show, like it reminds me of how there was like this interdimensional duel for the best fighter in the multiverse, and Mikey wins, and like in later seasons of the show, Mikey casually brings up how he was like the Battle Nexus champion in the multiverse.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that just reminded me of Spring, like bringing up how he beat Grime.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it cuts back to Sprig, like he's just training on his own, and it turns out he was just like practicing against like this tree trunk that belonged to a Hybina. Is that how you say it?
Yes. Hybina nest.
Hybina nest, yes. And then
Which, I love that pun.
yeah, it's better than a Scorpio.
So
And yeah, the nest comes out. Grime shows up to help Sprig out. And then then we get to see like Sprig in his element, where he just instantly becomes the commando we all know he is. And I like how like he hits one Hybina, and like we get that Michael Bay explosion with Sprig like heroically posing in the background in the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those Hybinas are probably like super flammable somehow.
We won't think about it too much.
Yeah, I like that even before that, like Sprig was like he was like jumping around, like taking a bunch out at a time, and Grime was like super impressed. Then meanwhile, like Grime takes like I'm trying to count like how many were on here, like about like 8 Hybinas like stinging him, and then just immediately like rages out and just pushes them all back. And Sprig's admired. Sprig is like Sprig admires that strength. And then we get a few more shots of them like fighting side by side, and that's how they bond. It's standard stuff, but it works. It's
Fun.
effective.
Mm.
And I like how Grime brings up like your anger when channeled properly is like your ultimate like weapon. And then they kind of have like this awkward like moment of silence where they kind of just like are just there. And then like Sprig admits that he could use that he could learn a few things from Grime, and that's when we get like the more optimistic training montage, which I really liked.
Yeah. No, it was really cool to see it like, flipped around in a much more positive aspect, Just seeing how Spring I don't know, I think that's just like I know there's a fight later on, but I feel like that's just like the most rewarding part of the episode for me. It's just, the idea of Sprig. Because I feel like, I know you discussed it in the past here, how Sprig sort of like represents the future of Amphibia, right? With like the heritage of the pink frog and stuff. I just feel like this is part of it in a way, Like he's bringing together two different cultures here and just, I don't know, turning into like a really effective way of fighting. I don't know how I'll word it, but it was just really, really, really nice to see that, because this has been a problem we've seen in Amphibia since day one, right? Just like this cultural divide between these two races, and just getting a scene like that where like Sprig embraces like not only like who he is as a frog, but also like he takes in some toad culture himself. Like, I love seeing that.
Mm.
Yeah, Sprig is very much like the spirit of the show, and like every single plot thread, like Sprig is the key. Every single plot thread, every single like moral of the show, every single theme leads back to Sprig.
Yeah, no,
he's somehow involved.
You're so right. No, because you're so right in that, because like I would call Sprig like the heart of the show, right? Like he's like the most representative of Amphibia's themes. Like that's what it means to be the heart of the show, right? Like you represent, like you are sort of like the face of the big ideas of the show, and like I totally see that here with Sprig. Like he's managed to touch all corners here.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Also, I just want to, how did Sprig not get splinters when he like when he, when he like rolled around on a tree with his tongue? Like, I'm surprised he didn't get any splinters off that, because that looks so painful, dude.
It was the most smooth tree.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Sprig like use his like tongue and like I knew.
Sorry, I just realized the part where he fucking decked Grime.
Yeah, like Sprig, like Sprig's tongue is basically like his base weapon, I guess. And
Superpower, really.
yeah, superpower, because like, that carries more weight.
He's so overpowered with that tongue.
That carries more weight than his own body can. Yeah, he does like all the challenges at once, basically, and I love that moment where he like kind of like hits Grime, and then Grime just like sits up impressed. And then I guess we can start talking about like the final, I guess the final act of this episode, where like it kind of fades into the next day, and we see the toads and frogs have gathered for this duel, and Sasha's in this like handmade like Wartwood cheerleading uniform, and it looks like she's using like bushes as like pom poms. And like her cheerleading team, it has Hop Pop, it has the sheriff, it has Fern, and it has like that one background dude who's like scarred up with tattoos and whatever. Like, I'm surprised they haven't given this guy a name yet, because I've seen him multiple times. Not in season 1, but I think
you do know his name. It's background guy.
It's like he wasn't in season 1. He was like a season 2 townie that was in the background.
Yeah, he was. I know we've seen him. I mean, I think we might have even seen him do some stuff here and there, but I can't remember. Like he's
I just remember him like in the background for Battle of the Bands.
it's still wow. I mean, just seeing further, it's so amazing that like this background character from Girl Time got a whole episode to herself. What the hell? And it was all like a great one too. But yeah, sorry for going off topic, but yeah, it's just really cool to see the sheriff there too. I mean, we haven't seen him do anything since Girl Time. Damn. Yeah, two characters coming back from that, huh?
Yeah.
It was just such a weird like choice for her, like her cheerleading squad, and then like the pyramid too.
Yeah.
And
Just a small moment of like Sasha flipping out and Hop Hopper questioning her work ethic. That was great.
Oh, she was just complaining about just the crazy schedules.
Yeah.
yeah,
Busy, okay.
yeah, and then like even though this episode took place after Mother of Olms, and it's like Hop Hop's at the bottom of the pyramid, but I guess like his knees got better.
Well, I mean, he doesn't cope very much under the weight of it all, right there. I don't know if they got that much better.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
They're all getting squashed.
and Grime, Sprig, and Anne are like inside like the grub and go, and Sprig gets some armor, and yeah, I just like that it's like the final. It's like Anne's like the guy, the person prepping the fighter, and then you got the coach there too, and it's kind of like a nice moment where like like I think Sprig mentions that his chances aren't high, but like Grime doesn't really. I think Grime tries not to bring up the odds, and just kind of just brings up, oh, like you frogs surprise me, which is a nice like. It was a nice comment.
Being Rosberg, it's like 5%, isn't it?
Yeah, I like how like Grime didn't like just make a joke about like, oh yeah, maybe it's like 5%. Like you just didn't want to. You didn't want to answer that. But oh, he said realistically no. Okay, so he did answer. But
Yeah,
but I
realistically,
do.
no. But you do always surprise me, so.
yeah, he kind of like
Yeah, I mean,
he softens up the message at the end.
I mean, I do want to say that I really do like that line from Grime because I mean, you know the whole thing with Grime. Like he's racist, right?
Yeah.
Like looks down on frogs, judges them and stuff. But yeah, no, that's just a great way to to show them coming around to them. So it's really cool.
Yeah, and then we get Sprig walking out into like into the field, and I think that same beetle or bug brings the dome down. Yeah, I just love how it's like it looks like a boss fight where it's like Sprig's walking into like into the area, and then the boss is just waiting there, like Beatrix with her like battle axes out. And I think this is the first time we've seen Beatrix with weapons. Because I know Forsha, she like drew like all of her Beatrix art, and I think they had battle axes in there, but it didn't show up in the show. I think.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure this is. First time we see her with weapons.
Right, and then the fight starts. Sprig does his dodging, and then like immediately like I'm just replaying the fight and want to see if he lands a hit on her first before doing his like super. Okay,
He
yeah,
tosses some pebbles at her.
yeah. I'm not sure what that was for. I think was that just like a distraction.
It was just to annoy her. He's diving full into I'm an annoying frog. Catch me if you can.
Right, and then he starts swinging around to like build up momentum, and then like hits her once, and then we get that like that scene where she's like looking up and Sprig's just like flying everywhere around the dome. And that was just fun. Like I know it's supposed to be cool. It was just funny to me.
It's a mix of both.
Yeah, it's both. Like I want someone to get a shot where it's like, since the screen, since Beatrix and the background don't change, it's just Sprig. Like I want to see someone just like copy and paste all like the different places Sprig like moves around into like one frame where you just have like 20 different Sprigs.
Ooh.
I just want to see that. But like if you pause at any one of these moments, it's still hilarious. Like Sprig in motion frame.
Mhm.
And love to see it.
Yeah, and then like, yeah, Sprig started. Yeah, and before that, Sprig was just like beating Beatrix down.
He was doing an amazing job, honestly.
Yeah, and then he goes for like the spinning finishing move, and then gets pulled into into like the bear hug.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just like it was just a fun fight. I just love how like he's getting crushed, and then it pans to the audience, like like everyone's scared, like all the frogs at least are scared, and then just like pans to
Mhm.
Grime. And then Grime's just like faces like there's no fear. It's just like all determination, like the coach look, and then you hear like the monologue, and Grimes doing the actions at the same time.
Yeah, he has this face that makes it shouldn't be a smile, but it looks like it is one.
I didn't see it
Right?
as like a grin. I saw it mostly as like a just him like
Like a determined
determined.
look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's an internal grin, I feel like.
and it's like he's speaking to Sprig telepathically, and and they have like the music swell up. It's just a super fun. It was just like a,
Mm.
how do I describe it? It's not comedic. It's mostly just like epic. Even though I'm kind of
Yeah,
like abusing that word.
it kind of is. It's one of those. It's a moment, and it's like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And then like Sprig, out of like pure rage, is able to like get out of like Beatrix's grip and just headbutts her. And I like how it's like they show him getting like all red and angry, and then Beatrix is just confused.
Oh, confusion for a glorious headbutt.
Oh, he also does like that weird like he does his like kid scream too. Yeah, I just love how like this reminds me of Spider Spring, how it's like even though it's kind of like even though the stakes aren't goofy, it's just like it's so funny. It makes it look cool. Like everything Sprig does is hilarious, but it's just
Taken with the right degree of seriousness.
Yeah. There's just something. I mean, I know he looked like he did look kind of silly with his face heating up and stuff, right? Like getting pissed off. But damn, does it really look really cool when he had Bugs Beatrix?
Mm.
yeah. They do like the black flash and the black screen and the white flash of light final move frame thing, and also like how like poor Frobo's used as the bell for this fight. He seems like dizzy
Yeah.
after. He'll get his
Yeah,
final.
because his transformation as well. That'll come. It'll come eventually. Honestly, you'll probably just like you probably get a. I'm betting he'll get like a cool scene in the Three Armies where like he walks out and like you know what I mean. Like yeah, he's all decked out in this cool new armor and stuff. That's what I expect.
I hope
You know,
so
Polly will
too.
talk about how she's been working on it for like weeks now. Like I think we're in store for that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so too. And you know, we saw these planter focused episodes. I'm hoping she'll get her moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, you know, the crowd pulls Sprig into the air. It's you know, it's that it's a fun. I think yeah, you guys mentioned that this felt like a season 1 episode, but with more weight behind it, and it shows. Yeah, and that's why I liked about it so much.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've been seeing that around a lot, but like, I mean, I just want to like go. What does that mean? like, what do people mean by it being like a season 1 episode?
I think it's because it's like some sort of like brawl or fight or conflict, and then the whole town comes by to watch, and like it's like a little show.
Oh, okay, yeah. Definitely has the vibe. Then, yeah, I get that.
Because like we had a couple of episodes where it's like everyone meets up in town square and something happens, and then not in town square, just like the episode happens, and then eventually like the whole town gathers up to see the like the big event, and then after that it's like there's a winner, and there's an audience for this, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think I get you. Like the whole audience kind of area and just.
Except the only difference is that like the town square is
Right.
like pretty much
The difference of and the stakes are completely different.
yeah.
But it's kind of go off, learn lesson, change off a bit, and then here we are in front of everybody having a big moment.
It's like Hot Popular, but like, well, it reminds me of Hot Popular, except like we actually know what the stakes are rather than them like revealing themselves rather than the stakes revealing themselves later on by the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah, and then I like how like Grime and Sprig are pretty much cool now, and Grime pulls him in for a nuggie, like the head nuggie thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a kind of like wholesome moment where like Grime just like treats Sprig as like his little mentor, like his pupil.
Yeah, like his little buddy. And I'm rewatching. That's just so cute.
Well, it is great.
Yeah, and then of course Beatrix compliments them and pledges her allegiance to the rebellion, and now we have the Toad Army on their side.
Huzzah!
go.
However,
Called it.
they will be coming. They will be showing up after the war, when the war starts.
When the war
so we won't see
starts.
them
Right.
just yet.
Preparation, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
probably 3 armies.
3 armies. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
So first we have the frogs, toads. Now we're gonna need the newts. Still left me, and we're like, when we'll get them, but we'll get them eventually.
Probably newts and tights.
Yeah, maybe that. It was Tritoni? It's like Tritoni. You know what I mean? Like,
Tritonian?
will they accept him?
I'm calling. We get Tritonia has been leading a bunch of like
Refugees.
a bunch of like not refugees, rapscallions, like running around raiding Andreas or something.
Yeah, he's
Trains.
recruiting child soldiers. Like, he's
Not
recruiting
maybe not child soldiers.
Oh, what's the name of the guest star? Archie Yates?
I think it's like Joey Potato, like Joey Potato or something. I would have put that. I mean, honestly, knowing Tritonio, how he trained a bunch of kids to help him rob a train, and he's done it more than once. Come on, they're gonna be.
Oh, he's gonna bring back like all the
These
kids
child
that he
soldiers.
like got to help like successfully rob trains without getting caught.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. Like, yeah, he's the that would be hilarious about. Oh my god.
And then like Anne and Sprig have to like bring up the fact that Tritonio tricked them all.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah. And then like this episode ends off with like Grime literally admitting that he's like going to undercut the message of the episode by making fun of Beatrix, and then
Yeah.
and then he just gets like knocked out with one punch, and that's how the segment ends. That was a pretty funny like sibling rivalry kind of thing.
I like how Grime goes, I know this is completely out of gets in the way of the lessons we've all learned, but it's in character and it's a beautiful Grime moment. And also, I like that they acknowledge that it kind of goes against everything that they had learned.
I mean, siblings got a sibling.
Ooh.
And Grime's got a Grime.
Also something I want to point out. I just love yeah, I just like the little scene of like Beatrix telling them that she's going to join the army and stuff, right? But then like instead of Sasha being the one that just takes in the win, like right, she sort of like leads the scene over to like Wartwood itself, right? Because I feel like that's the most important win here today, right? Just being able to change society and unite two people who are against each other for such a long time.
I think Sasha was just bowing, but then yeah, they use that as
Just
like the
looks weird.
shot. They use that to like pan the shot to the frogs.
But she was bound. I guess it's just the angle of the shot. Like, it looks kind of
wasn't
weird.
really a bow, but a similar kind of gesture.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't go as far to say it was a bow. Exactly. But also,
Like, this
the
is sort of at a
gestures
weird
were-
angle. Like,
And I'm looking at the townie designs. It's like like Loggle and Toady, they kept their season 3 designs, but then everyone else kind of went back into their civilian uniform, not uniforms, civilian clothing.
Huh. Oh, well, good to know that they can chill.
And I like who said have a safe drive, Sprig?
Oh, I can't remember.
maybe I'll just wait. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm just going through the clip again. Like Beatrix knocks Grime out, and she just walks over him.
Oh yeah, Brick literally says "drive save." Ain't that cute?
Mm.
I don't know. I just he got fucking knocked out, and they're just like, okay, like they're just like, okay, all right, bye, Beatrix. Like, what's all that about? Pick him up.
He'll be
You have a
fine.
concussion right now. Come on.
And just mind, I like how Beatrix had like the Frobot head as like her pauldron or shoulder armor.
Oh, did she have one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't spot that. I only saw the other one, the one with the spike on it.
It's just weird how like her and Sasha both are using like Frobo parts as like armor, even though like the show's kind of shown how like easy it is to beat them up if they really want to. It's like they get more durable after they've been defeated.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's just like a minor thing with like the way. At least those were, I think, the one Beatrix had was like from the smaller Frobo that came from the. I forgot the name of the big golden frog that dispenses smaller Frobos. It was based on like a Sumerian toad or something.
I know you're talking about. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, the one in Turning Point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think did we miss anything from this segment?
And I can think of.
Okay. I think we can go on to Mother of Olms.
Oh,
So,
here we go.
Yeah, Mother of Olms was directed by Joe Johnson, written by Michelle Cavan, and storyboards by Silver Paul and Alex Swanson. So this episode took place like right after Olmtown Road. The planners are heading down to meet Mother Olm, and that's when we kind of realized that this was the Stealth Hop Hop episode, and the planners have to go into Mother Olm's brain to help jog her memory and solve her headaches and get her to remember the prophecy again. And we have that plot, and also Hop Hop feeling a little bit useless because of his age. And that's a brief summary of the episode. And I thought it was a really fun episode. I guess starting with Sunsfury, what are your thoughts on your general thoughts on Mother of Olms?
General thoughts. I like it. I like it in general. I think that the fact that they keep on breaking the tension in Mother of Arms. They keep on saying, "Yeah, don't take this too seriously. Don't worry about taking this too seriously. Don't worry about taking this too seriously." Like over and over. I think that's good to see. It's kind of important because it's not Mother of Arms is not the literally everything gets revealed episode. That's not what it is, and that's kind of okay. I liked what we had, and I liked the little classical bit of Amphibia craziness we got in there.
All right, thank you, Sunsfury. Pixels, what are your thoughts on Mother of Olms?
I really enjoyed it. It was very comedic. I kind of assumed it would be very serialized, just because of how it was almost like a two-parter in a way because of from Old Tom Road. It was good, and I like that. Uh, Whoopi Goldberg was really good as Mother of Olms. She was very the Mother of Olms is a very chill person, but she like knows a lot about what's going on, like with the music box and all that stuff. And actually like going inside the Olms body and like what they have is very interesting too. I really like the atmosphere they use and all that, and the dynamics was pretty funny too.
All right, thank you, Pixels. Nick, what are your general thoughts on Mother of Olms?
Honestly, man, I thought it was a great episode. Like, despite the fact that it was very different from what we thought it was going to be, I still think it worked. What it was just trying to be, right? And yeah, it's not like the big lore episode that reveals everything, and that's perfectly fine, right? Like, it just focused on being what it was, which was just about confirming like a lot of what we already known, and just in a really satisfying way. So yeah, I mean, I was surprised by this being a Hop Hop episode. I did not expect that at all, but hey, I welcomed it as soon as I realized what was going on. So, all around, I really enjoyed the episode.
All right, thank you, Nick. So yeah, at the very beginning of this episode, where actually wait, I forgot to give my thoughts on this episode, kind of, but yeah, I thought this was like this was probably my favorite pairing of episodes for season 3 so far, and maybe
Really?
that'll
Wow.
maybe that'll probably get dethroned next week, but for now, this is my favorite batch because like this first. Okay, maybe I shouldn't give too many of my thoughts right now, but I guess the very beginning of this episode, where it kind of just has the guards making fun of Hop Hop about his age, and
because the hill was steep or like stairs or whatever.
yeah, and then they show like his knee breaking, whatever, and whatever, and actually, maybe I can't talk too much about Hop Hop's plot either. I just really liked how they're finally addressing the show. Often, like, makes jokes about Hop Hop's age at his expense, but they never really dedicate the whole.
Like show it.
They
effects of
don't
old.
dedicate the segment around Hop Hop being old. It's just kind of just a one-off joke, and then just they move on. But they don't.
But I was gonna say you could say that for other cartoons too. That they just make fun of it.
Yeah, like
Like, oh, all these characters are old. Lamau.
yeah, like in season 1, it would have been so easy for the show to like have an episode of, oh, Hop Hop's getting old and he can't keep up, and the show kind of went out of its way to avoid that and gave him more. The segments focused on Hop Hop in season 1 felt a little bit more universal, like him trying to keep the farm going, his role as the parent, him like having like a midlife crisis with Sylvia and whatever. So it made us like that's what made him so much more likable. And then all the old jokes were kind of just like added on and late, like we're just. It wasn't that they weren't trying to emphasize that the fact that Hop Hop's old. It's just that even in throughout most of the series, Hop Hop has been able to keep up with everyone. And like this guy isn't like he isn't a fighter like Mrs. Croker, who's been like who probably had a career as an agent. No, he was like a farmer, actor, and then I believe he said he was farming for 40 years. So it's like
40 years.
So
yeah,
when he
and
was
he said it like these are effects of farming for 40 years.
yeah, so around his like he probably did his acting career, and then when he turned like 30, before he turned 30, he kind of focused just on farming. And yeah, and he's been able to keep up with like the kids for this long. And
Mhm.
that then so the very first minute of the episode like kind of showing Hop Hop like struggling and stuff like that immediately that and even the clip we
Signs.
got
There's signs.
yeah, that and even the clip we got featuring like released by Disney as like promotional material, like that gave us like all the signs that oh, this might be like they're kind of emphasizing Hop Hop's like knees are weak and oh, this might be a Hop Hop episode, and that's what happened. And
Yeah, I was.
yeah, go ahead,
Oh,
Nick.
sorry. Keep going.
No, I'm done now.
Yeah, I was. I guess this is kind of dumb in hindsight, but because I was since I thought the episode was like, I mean, yeah, the episode was focusing on so many things at once here, right? Because there's like a lot going on. I was thinking to myself, like, dude, they better not be foreshadowing anything bad coming up later on, right? Like, I was thinking, please,
That's what I was
please.
thinking when I was watching the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, I was like, damn, don't let him die, please. Like, I was thinking that. I'll admit that. It's kind of dumb in hindsight now because it's just classic Hop Hop. He's old as fuck.
Right. And yeah, and the guards make fun of him too, and like screw those guys, they can.
How dare they?
Yeah, how dare
Yeah,
they?
that's just me.
Jerks.
And yeah, Hop Hop like rolls into everyone, brings them down to the bottom, and I like how they approach the like they enter the Mother of Olms room, and then of course it's Sprig, who I love how he just walks up to the gong and just starts like slapping it with this like he does like he does the windmill.
He does like a Muppet windmill movement.
It just feels so Sprig.
And the face he makes too.
Yeah, this like the open Muppet face, and then again Hop Hop's knees act up, and then he bumps into everyone again. And they also have
Just
Hop
in
Hop
case.
do like the Family Guy like collapsed all expressions. Why does the show love doing that for these characters? Like,
I don't know, but I'm okay with it.
Oh, no. Like they just love that specific falling.
It's a
pose.
funny fall. It's a funny fall
Yeah.
position. Because you never see people dial and do that pose.
and yeah, so Sprig, yeah, they summon Mother of Olms, and she shows up, and the music is it kind of has a little bit of the Proteus theme that we heard last week, and yeah, this is our introduction to the Mother of Olms, who's voiced by Whoopi Goldberg, and I think as far back as not last year, maybe like about 8 months ago, I remember Matt, like when we got we got the guest star reveals and people like that we saw Whoopi Goldberg, but then Matt mentioned that we wouldn't see her for a while and that she had a special role, and I think we were all kind of speculating either she was going to be the Pink Frog, and then once we learned about Mother of Olms, then we kind of
Ooh, wrong.
yeah, like once we found out the Mother of Olms
Ugh.
existed, then we thought, okay, maybe this is what, like who she'll voice. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just interesting how they were able to like
And then there's like one more, and that's next week's episode
Yeah.
too. Jason Ritter.
Yeah,
Mm.
Dipper Barrel, but yeah, like it's just I wonder like how do they like contact people like, hey, you want to voice this giant
He's-
Olm? Like,
You know, you free. You want to voice a very. You want to voice a mythical monster. Yo, sure. People have free time now, so
like I get for like voice actors are probably like super used to this, where it's like, okay, yeah, it's like another gig, and
yeah.
Mm.
I was wondering, like, is this? I'm guessing this is probably like one of her weirder voice roles, like voicing like a gigantic millennials old like home. Like, let me. I'm trying to look up like Rush voice.
Didn't she voice a bat, like an actual baseball bat?
Wait, did she?
I know she
think
was in Summer
did.
Camp Island for something.
Oh yeah, she was there. Trying to look up her voice role. I just wish someone listed it out simply. I guess she was in Magic Mirror.
She did voice the bat.
From what?
Everyone's hero. It's a 2006 movie.
Oh, like the movie's called Everyone's Hero?
Yeah, it's a baseball movie,
Oh, okay.
and she voices a bat.
So I guess that's the weird. So I guess this is the second weirdest role then.
I guess.
And yeah, like Mother of Olm's design is like,
Really nice. I love it.
yeah, like it looks like I know some people were expecting something a little bit more like similar to the Olms we already met, and maybe a little bit more like mystical looking. But like here, like you can kind of tell that she's old. She's an old person.
Yeah.
But she still has like the glowing fins and the I don't know what the things are called the side of her head. But
Things.
I like
Not antlers.
pardon?
Not antlers for sure.
Not antlers, yeah.
I swear, there's like a specific name for them, right?
Yeah, and then Anne introduces everyone, and oh, I also forgot to mention like the leaf on like the leaf shaped symbol on the Mother of Olm's head is looks very familiar to
Very, very. To who? Some to who?
well, first we know Anne has a leaf in her head, and then also the pink frog in the 3B teaser, she had a similar looking leaf thing around her neck, and we know like I'm about to talk about the shot where like the Mother of Olms is like talking. She mentions how she hasn't seen a frog in 1,000 years, and 1,000 years, and guess what happened 1,000 years ago? Like that's
Wow. What did happen 1,000 years?
Oh, nothing important.
Some war, whatever. Who cares?
I just
I don't know. Some peacekeeper started keeping the peace back then.
this shot of so the shot of like Mother Olm like looking like her face takes up the whole like frame, talking to everyone. That
She's very big. She's very wider than the other Olms.
right, and we haven't even seen like
she-
the full size of her. She's probably like she's huge compared to
Really
the other
huge.
Olms as well.
She like a little, maybe a Leviathan type size or whatever. Who knows?
Well, like yeah, certainly Leviathan in terms of like description, yeah, but
Yeah.
and I believe Alex Swanson, who I think was the only crew member to like do a promo for Mother of Olms, and like they pretty much used like they had a shot similar to this, except like the eyes were a little bit bigger and glowing. So I'm guessing they boarded this scene or boarded this shot. Yeah, you could see the similarities, and
Yeah.
the shot kind of reminds me of the true color shot with Andreas and Anne.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
absolutely.
yeah.
But like, there's nothing like it's not like intentional. It's just like scale. They just want to show how big Mother Olm is, and yeah, she makes comments about the frog, and she uses her tendril things to like kind of figure out who Sasha and Anne are, and she
So
realizes that
eerie.
she realizes they're not like from this world,
Frogs.
or she just calls them exotic.
Mhm.
And
I also noticed that they use a voice modifier on Whoopi when you were doing the Mother of Olms, and I think it works.
yeah, like they have like that weird like they
Echo.
have
It's like an echo in a way, but it has to because the Mother of Olms it has to be like a mythical creature. So you
right.
probably add like these effects of the voice, which works, and I like that. I wish I can. I want to see more of that in animation, to be honest, because it kind of fits the setting too, because it's like deep in this cave, this ancient cave city.
Yeah, it's similar to how like also Andrus, like when they have Andrus talk, they give him like a little bit of an echo,
Because of, he's in the kingdom, he's in the castle,
and
and
also
it's
because
mostly
like his voice
hollow.
is like that, like it's like booming when he
And it's
speaks.
yeah, it's Keith David, so it's very low.
And also, like right when Anne starts talking to Mother Olm, she makes that comment about like a bunch of fluttering wings, but no one else can hear it, so she just says it's all in her head. And like this is the foreshadowing of this episode.
Pretty good foreshadowing, to be honest. Just simple sentence.
Like when I saw this clip, I thought it'd be something like, oh, maybe there's like a bunch of Frobots on the way, and
I
she
think it's because of how common that line is heard. It works. Just me? It's okay. It's probably all in my head.
and yeah, Anne brings up the music box, and then Mother Olm, she like immediately like she mentions that she's like the I'm trying to listen to the clip again. Oh, she's the keeper of the prophecy for this whole in Calamity Box and Gems story. And then we see her like she kind of changes color, and we think she's about to give the like we think we're about to get answers, and then it's like nope, she forgot.
Oh, nope.
Yeah, this damn show.
I was like,
This damn
aw.
show. This damn show. Love to see it.
11.
Yeah, it's I guess I'll talk about the prophecy stuff like when we actually hear it again, but yeah, she forgot, and she makes that comment about how like when you get older, people like when you get older, your body starts to like fail you like bad friends, and like that was oddly specific.
You making that Sasha Marks comparison? What are
I'm
you
not
thinking?
okay. I'm not making the comparison. I just thought, like, man, for a show that talks about friendships with trios, especially
Yeah, it works,
especially next week, it's like, yeah, that's all I have to say. I just want to be like, oh, that's an interesting line. Refuse to elaborate, but I like how she says there's no way she'll ever be able. There's no way she'll be able to ever like remember what she forgot unless, and she like pretty much advertises like, what's this Olms name? Dr. Johann's brain cream. Like she treats it like it's a commercial,
Mm.
and yeah, that's when she pretty much gives the. I didn't really expect. I did expect us to kind of move away from this setting, from this room, because if this entire episode took place in this room, it might be a little bit like feel a little static, because usually Amphibia always has everyone moving around and going somewhere. I just didn't expect it to be inside Mother Olm.
Yeah, they could have like. I feel like I just imagine when they're writing for this episode, they're just like, hey, what's the best way we can fuck with our audience? Like, what's the best way we can mess up? Like, what the fuck? I didn't see this coming. I didn't see this. What the fuck? How did this happen? I need to know whose idea this was. Like, please, I need to know.
Yeah, and they they had to journey into the brain to like saying this. It's like yeah, this is Amphibia, but we're getting
This most normal Amphibia episode. Out of the planet, just go into the brain of an Olm.
and like yeah, it's a fun episode. Like it's a fun little trip, and it's not the show's pleasant to look at, but some people might be a little freaked out by it wasn't that bad. Like it's weird how going inside a giant amphibian is still less disgusting than Anne rubbing her acne with butter.
Yeah.
Okay, Sasha would like to say otherwise. She did not enjoy that time at all.
Yeah, of course, like Sasha's like not on board with this, but
Absolutely not. Reaches ear, immediately tries to turn around, gets dragged back in by Anne.
yeah, and even like Polly bullies Sasha earlier. But she kind of like pulls on Sasha's ear as a joke too, and then of course all the kids go in for this quest, and Hop Hop decides not to come along because he feels like he won't be helpful during the mission, and I like how all the planners kind of like they try to convince him otherwise, and they do mean it honestly. Like even I love how Polly's like Polly she compliments Pop Pop by calling him a killer.
We just accept that. This is Polly.
Yeah, like coming from Polly, that's like the greatest compliment she could give to someone else. And she gives it to her sweet old Hop Hop. Yeah, so he doesn't come along. The kids go inside the brain. You know, we get Sasha going in. Oh, we get Polly like screaming inside Mother Olm's like ear, and just talks about poo. And I like how like I like how Mother Olm is basically just like she's just a sweet old lady.
Yeah.
What's your
Really endearing.
Yeah, and then Sasha just like walks into that earwax, and while she's suffering, it cuts to Hop Hop just chilling in just being comfortable in his little teacup sauna. And I just like how it's just him and Mother Olms like chatting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like this kind of direction of the episode was just totally unexpected, but I think they did a really good job.
Mm.
I just really liked seeing these two bond. I mean, it's pretty cool. I don't know. It's weird. It's like her lifespan completely like. I guess it's like they're both really old. They can relate in some ways, but I guess like the fact that she's even like much older than him, so gives her like the opportunity to give even better advice than he could think himself. So yeah, I don't know. It's just nice. It's just nice.
I
I
just
didn't expect any of this, but I really welcomed it.
yeah, I just think it's perfect that they chose to do the Hop Hop is old plot. Like right when they meet one of like the oldest living amphibians on this planet, like on this in this world, basically.
Yeah.
It's just so nice because like yeah, like you said, even they're both old, but like Mother Olm's lifespan probably like dwarfs Hop Hop's by like almost 1,000-fold, like more than that maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, but it checks out because she's one of the people who's actually able to give some insight and help him out there. Because we kind of don't have many other characters any other characters that are in old age, like Hot Pop is, that could actually help him out and give him a face-to-face chat from somebody who's in a similar situation.
We did have what's the name of Hop Hop's
Yeah.
friend in Utopia?
Oh,
Sal.
like Sal?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
we
really
did have
thinking
Sal. We
about
did
it.
have
Yeah.
Sal.
and that was also a good moment in
Yeah.
Little Frog Town
Yeah.
too.
Mm.
But yeah, it's just like a sweet thing where like Hop Hop like I like how Hop Hop first brings up the something not helpful, and even Mother Olm points out like yeah, that's probably like useless information. Like it was like caterpillar milk, like how to like every caterpillar commercial or whatever, just something not helpful. And I like how Mother Olm just immediately like is like straight up with him. But then of course Hop Hop brings up his decades of farming experience, and that's nice.
Mm.
But then of course like Mother Olm starts like twitching, and that's when they realize like the kids have reached her nervous system, or not the nervous system. I guess since they're getting closer to the brain, I guess the neurons.
Yeah, that is supposedly part of her nervous system,
Right. Okay.
self-described.
Yeah, and yeah, they're all just getting shocked, and I like how Anne so instantly is just like, "Oh, it's like Limbo," gets electrocuted.
Sprig mocks Anne, gets electrocuted. Polly laughs at the two of them, gets electrocuted, flies into Sasha, gets electrocuted again.
Yeah, and
Well, I was just wondering, like, what was Polly thinking? She was literally sitting.
yeah, she's sitting on
the
it.
rocks. Like, she was just waiting for it to happen at that point. And poor Sasha. Poor Sasha.
Yeah, and then
She can cope.
yeah, they all fall into the yeah, they all get electrocuted, and then they all fall into the brain of Mother Olm. Uh, yeah, and then they pretty much just start like applying the cream, and I like how it's like this kind of like this little like upbeat tune. It kind of reminds me of it's I'm trying to remember the track from season 1 where it's like this like little fiddles playing during the montage, and I think TJ Hills uploaded the track. Um, I think it was about like making soup, so maybe it was lily pad thai. But it's like this little like cheery music while like Sprig is just like it looks like Sprig is like swimming in Mother Olm's brain and applying the cream. It's just funny. Oh right, but
Yeah.
before that, yeah, like Sprig just like walks into Dr. Johan's corpse.
Yeah, that's fucked, man.
Yeah,
Like,
that
Jesus.
was crazy.
And not
Yeah.
only that, but you also see a bunch of holes in Dr. Johan's dead body.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that the last time. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
I guess that's why he didn't make it out. Ooh,
Yeah, unfortunate.
damn.
And I guess Mother Olm forgot that because she's like, "Oh, no one's seen him in years." It's like you forgot that he went into your brain to like apply the cream. Like, come on, Mother Olm.
Mm.
And I like how everyone freaks out, and then Polly's like, "Don't care, dead and gone. Let's go."
Mhm.
Uh, I like how like everyone is like pretty clean except Sasha, who's just like a mess from like the earwax still. And they finish applying the cream, and then that's when the bat mosquitoes or bat skeetos show up, and they all run out and fall into the nose. For some reason, like they didn't want to let Sprig.
Hmm.
They don't want to like say it's mucus, but like they had no problem showing all of this.
Oh, they're being cheeky about it.
And
I still hate that. I still hate the shot. Wait. Okay, what's the doctor's name again?
Dr. Johann.
Johan?
Dr. Johann. I still hate the fucking shot of his bony hand, his decomposed hand, going all the way in Sprig's mouth. I see. I think I was doing fine. I think I was doing fine with the gross out humor until I got here. Like, this is where I'm like, okay, fuck you. This is where I'm finally like, fuck you guys for making me watch this. Like, I think that was my personal breaking point with the episode. Like, God, that's so disgusting.
The show just like in in one of like the crucial episodes just still has time to be gross and terrifying and all this stuff.
Like, that is like probably the grossest moment on the show for me. Like, just honestly.
Especially Sprig like runs into like the corpse's hand. It's like, oh man.
His hand goes on, his entire hand gets engulfed by Sprig's mouth. Like, ew. Like, the whole thing's in there.
Alright, I think moving on.
Wait. Oh, actually, yeah, it's time to move on.
let's get past Johan's corpse.
Yeah, like they're sinking in the mucus, and Hop Hop. This is when Hop Hop has to save the day. He has to fight against his weak knees to. I like how. So they try to get Mother Olm to sneeze. She can't do it on command, and then like Hop Hop has like his monologue. He's thinking to himself. He takes a moment to like think about the surroundings he's in, and then that's when he starts pulling all these ingredients. It's Hop Hop doing what he knows best. And then eventually he climbs up those stairs like he's like he gets his knees together and just charges through and just gets Mother Olm to sneeze. That's all that happens, but it's just nice to see Hop Hop get that win.
Yeah, it's nice to see Hop Hop get that win. I think there's one thing they did really clever is that in the climb when he's making it up, there's this scene where let me just get it up. He's climbing up the staircase, and the stairs are in the foreground and and then they loop around back into the background,
Right.
and it really helps sell this idea that these stairs are huge, and he's going up a really long distance, and it's hard. And you see that, and you go, "Oh gosh, that's going to be hard for a normal person." and it like really sells the struggle of him getting all the way up with this bowl of the most noxious vegetables that are out there.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, it's just really cool.
yeah. I'm looking at that scene right now too. It's nice to see. I like how Mother Olm is just standing there like innocently, just waiting, and then Hop-Up's like going through like the biggest battle. Okay, maybe not the biggest battle of his life, but like it's certainly not easy. But yeah, eventually he gets to the top, sneezes the kids out, and they all slide down
Hmm.
the mucus the mucus covered stairs, and I mean it doesn't look too disgusting. It's just the Nickelodeon slime, you know? It's
Mm. Yeah. And it's just the worst mission ever.
right.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that.
And
I still can't. Like, I'm still blown away. Like, damn. I guess they're thinking, should we have them go for a trial? Nah, that'd be too cliche. Let's let them do an adventure for a body. It's like, what the fuck? I need a commentary. I really want a commentary on this episode because it's like, just imagine how hilarious that would be while they explain the thought process for this.
like the crew passionately explaining why this episode involved them like going through the
Like, yeah. Like, they could have had them do a trial. They're like, nah, fuck it, let's go for a body. Like, I just need to know. Like, were they having fun? Well, were they having like fun? I don't even. What? How can you describe this? Like a subversion? Like, I don't even
It's a
know.
bit of one. It's kind of an alternate take on the traditional, like the hero trials. I mean, actually,
Yeah.
it kind of is it kind of is a trial in its own way. It's just not the typical. Oh, here's your to prove that you truly are the hero of the story. You must do X, and then we'll believe you, kind of thing. But it's actually not that, and something completely different.
yeah, and yeah, I like how it's just them helping Mother Olm out. But even though it is to get to the prophecy, it's not too strict. It's just yeah, it's kind of casual in that way. And I like how the planner kids hug Hop Hop and how happy they are, even though they're all covered with mucus. It's cute. With Hop Hop being the hero. But this is my Hop Hop bias. Just like me thinking, wow, like what a character climbing those stairs. This is why we love Hop Hop. It's like no matter what, he's like always the underdog, and like we just gotta root for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mother Olm gives like the thumbs up, and then
Yeah.
and then Hop Hop's back, like acts up, not his legs this time, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the price of
Here in the show.
yeah. It's the hero sacrifice. But yeah, now that they got the Batsquitos out. Oh, I like that. Sorry, I like that quick joke where and I think Anne says "bless you" after Mother Olm sneezes them all out, and then here she asks if like here they try again basically. Can Mother Olm remember the prophecy? And she still can. But then Hop Hop reminds her like, oh, maybe you wrote down somewhere. Then we find what we've been looking for the past 8 minutes on the ceiling. And
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's I think
No, I just like
before I get into
I
this.
love.
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I just feel like they made this episode to fuck with us. Like they it's not that they didn't know what they're doing. It's because they thought, hey, what would be like the best way to torture the audience? Let's do it this way. Like, they knew exactly what they were doing this episode.
Nick, I think that's a summary of all of Amphibia.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
how do we best mess with literally as many people as possible while still putting on a wild ride of a show?
Honestly, that's totally fair. They've even did this since day one.
Yeah, and then I think the prophecy was written in. It's written in Utopian, so I'm not sure how Mother Olm was able to like know it's there.
I
But
mean, she can probably read Utopian.
she's blind though.
Wait,
But I mean,
wait, hold on.
no,
Wait.
she has
It's magic.
real
It's
eyes.
magic. It's magic.
It's
This
magic.
is magic. It just don't give me the questions. It's
Well,
magic.
maybe she uses the feelers, but she does seem to have like proper like seeing eyes. Full stop. Given the blues,
I guess.
she doesn't have like she doesn't have the film over her eyes that all of the other Olms do.
I mean, like I'm not too like
Yeah.
hung up on it, but yeah, it's just like how is she reading it? But it's like, granted, she does have like magical powers and can change her color, so like there's probably a way she's doing this, but
Best not to think about it too much.
yeah, and then this is when we get the prophecy, and man, like we already
get to the
like we
prophecy?
the audience already knew what this prophecy was about since Day at the Aquarium. So that was in, I believe, June, July 2020. So it's been about a year and 3/4 since like we the audience, or maybe not even general audiences. Maybe it was just like people who are kind of like people who are who absorb Amphibia lore.
Yeah,
Or
honestly, God, I
people
do
who are
think it's
tapped
just.
in.
Yeah, honestly, God, I do believe there was just people who like trying to be active for the fandom and just see what was going on because like, and I do know if you just go to some some YouTube comment sections, like there'll be people who generally don't know about the prophecy, and that's just because they haven't had the chance to see the translated runes from the fandom.
Right, and so this is the first time some people might be hearing about like the prophecy, like 3 stars shining bright, burning bright, come from beyond to expel the night. Should they fight or embrace the fall, their choice will determine the fate of all. Like, yeah, this. Okay, I need to pull up my notes on what I wrote about the prophecy. Like, so a lot of Amphibia's story is determined by like the actions of the characters for like very personal reasons. So like whether it was Marcy bringing them here in the first place, Sasha like positioning herself against Anne, and in the planners like their actions leading to like whatever the conflict of the episode is in season 1 or 2, and even Andreas's like own quest for conquest is like very personal to him. And the prophecy is something that isn't really there's some distance between like what the character's doing and why they're doing it. The prophecy isn't very personal. It's just kind of like stating the facts or stating it's very external. It's like an external force being applied into a show where that's mostly character driven. And I think it was the right call to have the characters learn about this prophecy, I guess, so late into the show's life, while the audience got to learn about it like halfway in. And I think it's important for at least for characters like Anne, Sasha, and Marcy. Well, even maybe Marcy knew about this since she was with Andreas, but at least for Anne, it was probably very important not to have Anne learn about this until she reached the point where she kind of grew and developed as a character without this kind of hanging over her head. So I think like that's what I like about the prophecy being the way the show's handled it so far. But I guess moving forward, it's like we got to see how Anne is. We got to see how Anne is like reacting to all of this and how she's going to deal with it. And we get that next tidbit of Mother Olm talking more about it. But I guess, do you guys want to give your thoughts on just the prophecy in general? Now that we've got it for the characters.
Okay, just like specifically around the prophecy, because then there's Mother Olm talking, and then there are some interesting reactions off of that I want to talk about.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about too. But I just wanted to I guess we can go on to that then. But
we'll have a little bit. It's nice to get that rehash. It's nice to see. There's this moment where the Mother Olm is speaking out this prophecy, and all of the crystals glow up, and we just get this shot of Anne and Sasha standing
wind
with
physics.
the camera looking down on them with the wind blowing through, and it's just this great moment of, wait, okay, this is getting big, and this moment of wonder. And it pulls that off while they're both covered in goo. Like,
yeah, this is
that just.
Yeah, this.
How can you do that?
Yeah, this
How
reminds.
Can you be allowed to do that?
Nick and I discussed how like Amphibia loves doing these like big like the big like moral of the story things at like the most like uncomfortable time. Like back in Hopluck, Anne is having this realization how she like dragged the planners into like this quest for pizza, and how she's like risked their lives just for this. And then while she's like talking about all this, you have like Hop's butt up against her face. And like you said here, it's like we have this epic moment with the wind physics and the crystals are lighting up and they're all covered with mucus.
And a small thing is that before she starts actually reading out the prophecy, a nice bit of continuity is Mother Olm referring to the music box as
the song between
the music box that plays the songs between the worlds, which is some nice cohesion with what we already know from Terry during Escape to Amphibia. It's nice to see that understanding on both sides, so we can go, yep, all right, reinforce that, kind of. We go, yes, we can be. It's nice to see it happen again. It's nice to see it continually get to refer to the music box as the world traveling portal kind of thing with the music. Reinforce that the playing of the music is the transportation. I don't know. I like that. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good note.
And then also Sasha quickly like telling Mother Olm to read it.
Mean there.
Yeah, which tells her to read it before she forgets how to like actually read or whatever. It's it's just Sasha. But I guess we can go into what Mother Olm talks about. Where like after the prophecy, I think the first thing is about how they talk about Anne's powers first, I believe, where
yes.
Mother Olm asks the girls if they have the power of the stones, and Anne brings up that like she does, like that she has the powers, but she can't control it after Anne just took the box. And I like how Mother Olm kind of interrupts her and brings up how like she brings up that Andreas has the way she phrases it is that Andreas has stolen the powers that belong to Anne and the girls.
That are rightfully theirs.
Yeah, like I think she says that like it's rightfully okay.
Yeah, that just gives them like a huge air of importance. Like I feel like they really hit the marks of like the dialogue here. Like I just love every single bit of it. I mean, just
Mhm.
that close up shot of like the mother of Olms standing in front of them, asking if they burn bright the power of the stones, dude. That's just chilling right there.
Mhm. Also, gotta love the Sasha just like calling them, "Hey, do we get cool anime powers too? That'd be awesome."
That was really good.
Saying
Yeah,
what
that was
everybody
really
is
good.
thinking.
So I'm just still waiting on like the moment where they all power up, fly around, beat the crap out of whatever the heck they need to. Like I'm still waiting for that moment. So yeah, like just hearing Sasha say that was super rewarding.
Mhm.
You know, I just feel bad for Mars because I just know she's gonna be pissed off that she probably only gets to use it like once or twice. She's still gonna freak out that she actually had powers at some time.
We shall see. Also, an important part is that Mother Om is specifically calling out Anne as one who is able to facilitate the other two unlocking
Hmm.
it. So that's going to be also a cool, fun moment,
Yeah.
which I'm excited to see.
Yeah, because I mean, just knowing like the fact they do pair up with it, like they do pair up with the development of the powers with their character development, right? And so
Mm.
I'm just think I feel like I could see like that transformation sequence, right? Like and helping the two other girls transform. Like I could see that happening when they're all in like equal footing for one another, or something, when like a lot of things are resolved between them. Because I think like
Mhm.
I mean, just knowing Amphibia, right? They're obviously going to tie that with it, so I could totally see that. So I'm just hyped for that. I mean, I'll admit, like before it was difficult to make out a path to Sasha and Marks getting powers because like Andrews has the box, right? And you if they get their powers back, right? Because I mean this is before this episode. Like so I was thinking if they get their powers back, then that's gonna mean that like, Andrews isn't too big of a threat anymore, so they're gonna need something to make this work. But I'm just glad that it's this simple, right? Like just Anne is a conduit. Anne's the one who can transfer over the powers back to them. So really excited for that.
Yeah, my currently running theory is that given what we saw in Escape to Amphibia, where Anne was at her best in like degree in tune with her powers when she was really displaying her heart power, her heart ability in its most positive orientation, where everybody's working together. She's managed to congregate all of these people, all working towards a common goal, and together they're unstoppable. And that's when her powers kick in the most controlled fashion, as opposed to the least controlled fashion, where it's rage after seeing somebody you love, quote unquote, die. Now, I think we're going to have an escape to Amphibia kind of moment with Sasha and potentially probably Marcy as well, where Sasha is, let's say Sasha is displaying strength and persistence in a way that's super positive and is more like about defending all those around her than the moment we see in Barrel's Warhammer when she's trying to push to still be in charge and upset that she's falling behind.
Oh, okay, and then that kind of like
That's just
triggers Anne's.
Well,
Well, that triggers her
at
connection to
least in
Anne.
some way. That's kind of the emotional moment where the trigger will happen
Okay.
in some
you know
way. I won't be,
I mean
and yeah, there's a lot of unknowns though.
David, I just really like your point about Escape to Amphibia because I never thought about the fact that like there's like a big difference between what triggered Anne's transformation sequences compared to that episode, right? Like a lot of, I mean, besides that episode, right? It was like rage and desperation, right? And damn,
Mhm,
here it's just sheer confidence. Because I know like since the beginning of season one, like Anne's always been someone empowered by like the people around her, right? Like the relationships she forges. So yeah, like
mhm.
it just lines up perfectly with her heart powers. I just love to see it. And I feel like, yeah, when she's on good footing with like Marcy and Sasha, I mean, like I don't know who knows, like maybe that will be her strongest like transformation sequence. Because I know in a way, like those two have always sort of stifled her heart. Like I'm getting too on the nose here, but like I think once she's able to stand together with them, once I don't know if everything's gonna be resolved by then, but like once they're able to find some kind of common ground of one another, I do think like we're gonna get something pretty insane here.
Yes, if the final moments of the show, like the final moments of the fight against the core, do not end with the three girls like beating it up with the power of friendship, I will be surprised. Because
Yeah, like
Amphibia is one of those shows where you know the power of friendship is going to be the winning move, and you are excited for it.
yeah, like they do it so well. The power of friendship
The
is
power of
just like
friendship with. Are we
it
gonna get
doesn't
a?
feel it doesn't feel.
Are we gonna get a Spran
Oh, go
against the
ahead.
world with Calamity Sprig?
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
giant
not.
coat. Nah, spring doesn't burn bright with the power of the stone. Sorry, sorry, man. But cold.
Let me dream. Dream, dream, dream,
Sprig doesn't
dream.
need calamity powers.
Yeah, his tongue's very overpowered.
Sprigzer uses like Sprigger already took down two Toad Lords with a
Yeah,
slingshot.
honestly, holy shit. Yeah, he did. Damn, spring.
But like I really like how I think the episode itself kind of the way Mother Olm phrased it with the way since Anne has her powers she can get the other powers back. Like I thought it would just be like Anne has to fight her way to get the box back from Andreas, but yeah, I like the idea that she could be the conduit to everyone else. Like she can be the conduit between the girls and then the box, and then kind of siphon it out. Can siphon the power to them as well. And I guess we can talk about the. I like how Anne is asking the questions we were asking. It's just why? Why is the prophecy this and why is the prophecy that? And I have Mother Olms like comment about how like the purpose of the box is that the Olms believed that the gems serve they have a greater purpose, but should be left alone. But then, out of the greed and conquest of others who want to use the box for other reasons, created. I'm going to quote this now. Created an unnatural thing that does not sleep and will not die. And then the three of them have been summoned to save us from what we've become, the worst version of ourselves. So imagine Whoopi Goldberg thinking she's gonna voice like this cartoon show and then says that line.
Oh, look, I just love that entire sequence there.
Mm.
I love the descriptor of the core being an unnatural thing that does not sleep and will not die. It just hammers home this what have we done kind of thing. Also, constant references. The core is a made thing, and it's not like the night has been some kind of ancient being that's behind everything or anything like that. There is the core, and that was indeed built. It's entirely constructed because of the greed for power. So we can probably leave out all the Frog Zulu theories that everybody had. I'm sorry.
This like was like the final nail in the coffin, but I don't mind because I think like Chuck posted in the chat like literally 10 minutes ago. I'm gonna quote Matt's like tweet. He says, "I don't normally comment on stuff like this because I believe it's good to keep certain things vague / open. But there's nothing that warms this creator's heart more than when a clever fan hits the nail right on the head." And this like YouTube comment is like, "The frog monster in the mural. It's not the core or some monster the girls are gonna fight. It's a symbolic representation of Amphibia's greed and corruption. The girls are fighting for Amphibia's soul." And
I'll be honest. Like, while that does smash apart the 3D, fan theory. I mean, I still fucking love where the show's going with that. I mean, it's this idea that Frog Cooler's never been like an actual monster, but just like
a metaphor.
Like symbolism, right? Yeah, just a metaphor, just for Amphibia's worst possible self. And like, I just love the idea, it's sort of like a reversal for what from Amphibia was meant to do for the girls, right? Like make them into the best selves, and now they're turning back and doing the same for Amphibia, right? Like they're getting rid of the worst possible thing they could have done with themselves. So it's just, yeah, I love it. Like, I just love it. Like this show
that
just
final
knows how to get it right.
that
Like the
final
theme,
line,
right?
like save us from what we've become, the worst version of ourselves. That's like the perfect, like
Yeah,
that's the line that just like elevated this entire episode for me, because just
yeah.
that's like everything Amphibia's been about, kind of.
Like just that's the message for you. Me personally, I find it all worth it just for this single moment. Like this is just one of the best scenes out of the entire show. Like it's just like they use Whoopi Goldberg really well here. I mean, just every line that comes out of her mouth is just gold.
Yeah, and especially I like how we know that the core is something that shouldn't exist, but remember in Olivia and Yunnan how Andreas, like the way he spoke of it, like the way he hyped it up, and how like the way he talked about the core was like this like crowning achievement for
Yeah,
Newtopia.
like
And
this is.
yeah, like he talked about like the world's greatest minds all came together to create the core. Like he's so proud of it. And then like now we get to have Mother Olm talk about it, and like the darkness of it, like how it like it will not die and whatever. Like it just I
You
love it.
cannot sleep.
Yeah.
Like it's just chills,
Mm.
right? Like it just chills. I mean, that's why I just love because I just love the fact that this episode confirms how I felt because it's like the core is like an infestation, like this unnatural like monstrosity that's found its way in Amphibia. Like it doesn't belong there. It goes against like the natural order of things. And in the Olms, they believe that the gems, like right, they're just natural. They shouldn't be nests with you. You shouldn't do anything with them, but let like the rightful beholders of it have it. But like then the core went ahead and did its thing.
They're not saying that they're natural per se. They're saying that they serve a greater purpose.
Right, yeah, that's what I want to
And
talk about.
that's greater purposes are always a little on the spooky side because that means something big's happening, and I'm so keen to figure out what this greater purpose is. Maybe it is just for the prophecy to save to save Amphibia from themselves, but maybe it's something else. Let's just keep one eye open while we sleep to be sure.
Like I
Yeah.
like it's interesting how the gems predate everything the null like everything that we know about the gems predates the Olms as well, and they're even older than Newtopia. And I like how the line how the Olms thought it was best to leave it be because it's doing something greater, and maybe it's like something passive because if the Olms believe that the gems should be untouched and shouldn't be interfered with, that means they're in the middle of they're doing something that we can't see. And maybe by using these gems, we're it's disrupting the balance that the gems are supposed to be doing. And that's going to be a big part of the end, like it's going to play a big part in the finale or in the end game of the show as to what's going to happen with our characters, our main cast, who are from different dimensions. And I mean, there's a reason why the final episode's called The Hardest Thing, and I just
Yeah,
like the idea how the gems are like the gems are more than just like superpowers or a giant battery to power like a castle in the sky. It's like it has some sort of place in the universe, I think. Especially with the way that we've treated especially the way uh travel between worlds is treated like a song. So it's like, I guess it's like the musical. I guess like the connection between these worlds are it's like it's music, and it kind of reminds me of the comic book series like Final Crisis, how it's like everything, the whole universe is like linked together via song. I don't know, it's a very abstract thing, and I'm just curious how the show's gonna like what the show's like planning with the gems, especially since they predate everything in Amphibia.
Mm.
Yeah, this is
heavy stuff, and super unknown stuff. Oh, I'm
especially
excited.
I'm just really happy we're getting like the second half of the puzzle next week, right? With so thank God for the Core of the King, right? Because I mean, I feel like now that we know what's going on with the prophecy, right? I feel like that's like just 50% of it. But now we need to know like what the core wants with all of this, right? Now, so
Mm.
I think once. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we might find out the second half next week.
Yeah.
But then there's the mysterious third half that might show up. What's I don't know. All this talk about greater purpose has my ears tingling. And also there's the interesting part of what do the trio what do the trio do as a part of all of this? What do they want? How are they going to interact with this whole thing? Because the prophecy is leaving it basically all up to them as to how they're supposedly saving
yeah,
Amphibia from itself.
it's the worst kind
Yeah,
of
like the
prophecy.
choice determines all. Like, yeah, it's like super vague, and it just tells them, okay, like this is up to you guys. Go ahead and handle it somehow. And it's like,
Yeah, it's like,
actually, that's about it.
yeah, it's imagine that situation where it's like you have to do this insane thing. And it's like, why? And then it's like, I don't know. I'm just giving you the blueprint.
Well, the why is because they need to be saved from the worst version of themselves. But the question is how.
And I really like how, especially in Marcy's case, like she is part of the. She's been sent to Amphibia to defeat the worst version of Amphibia's self, but she is Amphibia's worst self. And since she is at her worst self, she has been sent to Amphibia to defeat the worst version of herself.
It's really complicated with the fact that they're now Darcy, I guess. I mean, I don't even know what to say of all this. Like,
Yeah, just basically, it's like, yeah, it's just interesting how, like, Marcy will have to defeat the worst version of herself to actually save Amphibia. I just thought that's an interesting part of her journey.
That's
I
a
just
beautiful
also,
send off to the journey, really.
And yeah, the knight really was the core all this time.
yeah, like it's.
I would say that the
Yeah,
knight is more the general cloud of greed for power and avarice that caused Amphibia to devolve into the worst version of itself. I would say that's kind of the night, and the core is more a symptom of the night, of this darkness.
Yeah, but we still got that.
now I'm just.
We still got that shape in the mural. Like maybe that's the core's final form after. I don't. That's just me hoping we get like this frog-looking toad hybrid monstrosity.
It's all up to the destiny. I mean, like they did a cliffhanger for a reason. I mean, like it's all up to the destiny. Like that's when we'll know. I feel like that's when we'll. I feel like okay, maybe with like the whole line about the gems having a higher purpose or something, like maybe that will be like a last minute twist towards the end. But I think like right now really get the sense of like where we're going endgame wise once we have the idea of what the destiny is. Yeah.
And I like how
Honestly, that's what I expect.
yeah, and at the end of Olivia and Una, it's like the core had its own idea of what it wanted its destiny to be, even though it's fully aware of the prophecy and has been taking all these steps to avoid it, and now is trying to.
Oh Christ! Now that just messes with my mind. Like yeah, they always think about the prop there. Now I'm going to think about that for a little while later. But damn,
And it's just that's what's like. I won't say it's bothering me. It's just that Amphibia is so much of Amphibia is about like kind of trying to go against. It's like trying to have your own free will when in the face of events that are like beyond your control. And then now it's like the core's trying to do that, but Anne and the planners have always been trying to do that, and now it's like I don't know how to describe this. It's just
I don't know if I wouldn't say that's quite the major theme. One of the major themes of Amphibia.
I don't want to say it's not a major thing,
Yeah,
but it's
it's
something
not like, I
that's
don't know if it.
it's something that's always happened though. It's like Anne is trying to be her own person and not actually.
I think that's more just growth and understanding who you are and who you want to be as an idea, and trying to become the best version of yourself.
Right, and then we have this prophecy telling Anne that she needs to, like, she has to be her best version of herself to stop this. And it's like,
I mean, it doesn't really say that at all. It just says this is a danger, and it's something that she had already agreed with doing anyway. Like, she's here to stop Andrews even before she hears the prophecy saying, yo, there's this whole,
right, yeah,
you kind of here to expel the night. Like,
right. That's why I like how the prophecy's like introduced to the characters now, because like, I mean, if this was in season 2, oh my god, like imagine Marcy. Like, I have no idea if Marcy actually knows about the prophecy, because like I feel like that this would be something that I would kind of get her excited about, but in like the worst possible way. Like if Anne just was like telling her that she's like the messiah for this world, like I don't know, like I do know, like I do know Anne's actions here are on her own accord. Yeah, it's just this chosen one stuff. It's like Amphibia's done a pretty good job, like trying to. I like how the prophecy's been integrated into the show. I just hope it continues being well. I'm sort of at a loss of words now, but
like do you still they have like the autonomy or something with their choices and stuff? Like, is that
right,
what you want?
that's what I'm trying to figure out how to phrase. Like,
I mean, I think the show. I mean, I think they've always handled it in a satisfying way just by having a tied to character growth, and I feel like they're just going to stick with that, right?
right.
So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I have faith in this show.
It's really, I mean, it's just amazing to finally be on this other side, like finally having them understand what their greater purpose of being here is. I mean, we've been waiting like what, almost 2 years for that,
Yeah.
and yeah,
even 3 years.
What an
if we
amazing
count,
scene!
if we count 3 years, with the mirror, like
Jesus,
the intro shot at the very end, like.
Yeah, I feel so dumb because I just remember like I never thought anything about that. I was just like, "Huh, neat." When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I wonder what that means." Like I just ignored it. I just ignored it.
Not even
until
after
I found out about the prophecy in the book. Like I was just chilling, man.
Not even
Because
after the
I was
eye glow.
thinking,
Like the very first eye glow in episode 1.
I won't lie. I was just thinking funny frog show. Like I was like, cool eye glow. I was like, funny frog show, right? I was just chilling with the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love those debates. Oh, okay. Are these is this animation error or is this real?
Yeah,
Here we are.
and every
As it turns out, season 3 is not an animation error.
yeah, it's like every season
These
becomes
calamity
like
powers do exist.
yeah, like every season becomes like harder to disprove. Where it's like her eyes glow even brighter each time. Like, and by the time you reach season 3, like her fists are glowing blue as well. It's like, hey guys, I think in this premiere, I think Anne's eyes glue.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. And especially to look at everything in retrospect, because when we see these final episodes, we'll see how the end state and the journey will make even more sense. Like it's coming together now. You see all the themes merge in, and you see how past episodes have contributed to those themes. And when we see the finale, I'm hoping that everything will check out. I'm excited. And I think the
Yeah.
way things are going, looking pretty good.
Yeah, that's why I have so much faith in this show, because like already, like even though we don't have the whole picture, like a lot of it's already like feels so nicely put together, from like stuff
Yeah,
like the
it just-
prophecy, and especially with Pink Frog, like we're going to get like an answer for that, and we have all the like the pieces laid out, and even if we know how the story's going to go, it's like just the satisfaction of like knowing how we got there is going to be enough.
Yeah, everything just feels really well placed together. It's just I feel like it's just thematic through lines. Like I think I've talked to you about this before, Thumb. How like the show keeps increasing in scope, and more and more and more and more, but it still feels like the same show at the end of the day. And that's just because like they know what they are, and they still stick with that. They make sure everything connects in a way, and I just love the idea of like the accumulation. I just love the idea of the core basically being the accumulation of everything wrong with Amphibia itself, right? Like its caste system, like the racism there, like the greed, like everything just came. Like the core is the symptom of that, right? And like, yeah, it's just amazing to think that this fantasy land, its purpose in the story, like I guess like outside of like all the concept of the story, it was like Matt said, it was meant to bring the best out of these girls, and now they're going to turn around and just do the same for it. And like that's just it's hard. Like damn, just bravo to them. Whoever I don't know, like when Matt came over the story, was he just like just damn? Like, I don't know. This just hats off to whoever made up all this. It's amazing.
Yeah, and just Amphibia, man, just with all these damn through lines and themes, and I really like how even in I think I said in past episodes too, but even in this set of episode, it's like we're not getting the show's not throwing too many new plot elements into the mix. It's still working off of whatever it had, and that's good, because like it's just that's how strong the show is. It can just pull from whatever it's set up in past episodes and just like work off that, like Grime and Sprig, the Olm prophecy, Hop Hop feeling old, like all this still works, and doesn't feel it doesn't feel like a rehash of something. It just feels like it's building off whatever materials it had. Like it doesn't need to like introduce like a brand new element in the final season, saying, "Oh, we can use this to do that." And like it's building off itself. That's what makes Amphibia so
This
great.
is the power of well planned stories. Like, yeah, you just love to see it. I mean, like they don't have to worry about like making any last minute twists work out for themselves. Like they already had all this stuff set up, and they know how to make it all work out here. And yeah, we're just seeing like there's nothing really new being thrown into here, right? It's just more like these secrets that have been here since day one have finally been revealed to the cast, and now we're seeing how it's all going to be resolved. And that's just, yeah, like it's going to go well. Like that's honestly how I see it at this point. I mean, there's just so much thought placed into this show, right? You can't just like they don't throw random shit at the wall and just wait to see what sticks. Like no, there's so much thought and just development placed into the show. And so I think they absolutely know where they want to go with this, and that's why like if there are deep thematic just ideas with what the gems represent, then like I'll believe the same for Darcy, and I'm just pumped for the rest of it, man. I mean, it just keeps getting better. I cannot wait until Darcy finally pulls back the curtain on themselves and just steps into the fray here. And I feel like there is like come on, like they went from the Mother of Olms, revealing all that stuff to the Court of the King next week. Like, there's a reason why they're doing that. I feel like we're entering in, like, say, part 2 or 3B in a way. Like, now that we have like the whole prophecy here, this is it. Like, we're going to something deeper.
Yeah, we are in essentially the Temple arc.
Yeah,
we are looking at basically what are going to be like second temple, third temple kind of tier level episodes of season 3. We've got a couple more stuff. We got a few little oddballs and gathering everybody up, but oh boy, it's happening.
Yeah, I like
We're
how
in the end game now.
Yeah, I like how we keep dividing the seasons into smaller and smaller chunks as we go on in the community. Like before, it's like, oh, it's season 1, and then it's okay, it's season 2A and 2B, and now we have season 2A part 5 of 7 going into the second act. but I agree. Like I do think like Olmtown Road, Mother of Olms, The Core and the King, they kind of have its own vibe, basically, like the Temple arc.
Hmm. Yeah, because we had like a bunch of 2B episodes where people were getting home, and then there was Marcy to hang around with, and Marcy had a bunch of episodes, and then we got to the first temple, and then we got to the second. Then we had a bit of downtime, got to the second, and then it was like second, Barrel's Warhammer.
It was Barrel's
then,
Warhammer,
like,
Second Temple,
Second
then
temple,
Michelangelo and Bessie, and then Third
Bessie,
Temple.
third temple, and then it just kept on going. Bam, bam, bam. Last dinner, Battle of the Bands, True Colors.
And
So
and there's also like arguably like this season has a lot less downtime than the Temple arc.
It has even less because let's see.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we can.
yeah, we have
Oh, go ahead, Sunsfury.
we have Root of Evil, the Core and the King, which is probably going to be basically our second temple. This is our second step of the plot unveiling. Newts and Tides, Fight or Flight. I guess. Man, look, there's just 3 gonna be fairly intense episodes, and then we have the last 2 episodes of we have no idea exactly what's going to happen here. We don't know what's going on. Matt, please hug me up.
Yeah. I hate the fact we won't get a description until like
I don't. I love it.
Yeah.
And
Possibly
even then,
because it's caused me pain, but that's a different story.
I'm just scared, man. Like these last 2 episodes, like I just hate the fucking all in the hardest thing, dude. That is so abstract compared to the rest of Amphibia's titles. Like, there's no puns, there's nothing. It's just all in the hardest thing. Like when I saw it for the first time, I was like, this isn't real, right? Like this does not feel like the Frog Show. This doesn't seem like my funny Frog Show. That's just I'm just scared.
and even the descriptions aren't going to be that helpful either.
Yeah.
But I guess this is probably a good time to wrap up. And
Yeah.
like next week, we're going to get, like Sunsfury said, the Root of Evil, the Core of the King, and we kind of got, since this was posted by Disney TVA Twitter, like I don't mind talking about it, but we got that little clip of Root of Evil, and it's kind of it kind of implies that this is going to be another Hop Hop episode back to back, and I'm
Love to
excited
see
for that, and I hope we get to see more familiar faces from season one, and if we do, I'll be talking nonstop about it.
it.
And then there's
Yeah,
Corn,
you
and
and
then
me
there's
both.
the Corn the King, and that'll be fine, I guess. But it'll be an interesting week. But I guess final thoughts, Sunsfury, on tonight and maybe future. How are you feeling?
Oh, I like that we're ramping things up slow. It's a bit of a slow ramp up. It's not like we got hit by a truck in these two episodes, but things are moving and in a very entertaining way, and in a way that I really like that meshes well with the themes of Amphibia. We're not just being told, "Oh, here's the final boss. You defeat the core. That's the point. The core was the evil all along." But it's something that ties really well into the general themes of Amphibia that we've been building up from the start of the show. Sort of self development and growth, and becoming the best possible version of yourself. Uh, I think Grime's Pupil is absolutely crazy. It's great. It's great. I had middling expectations for it. Like, I was going to go, oh yeah, this will be a fun episode. And then the actual episode happened and it was a blast. I love that we see Beatrix. I love that we've gotten her into the fray before the three armies, so that that's kind of one relationship angle that doesn't need so much sorting out for later down along the line. It'll be more getting the Newts and Toads to work together than the Newts and Toads to work with the frogs. So I have high hopes. I think it's going to be great. Let's go.
All right, thank you, Sunsfury. Nick, any final thoughts?
I mean, the show just gets more and more hyped. I mean, talking about it here has made me appreciate the other realms even more than I already did before. So, yeah, I'm just excited for whatever comes next.
All right, thank you, Nick. And yeah, I love this pair of episodes. Mother of Olms kind of gave me the Hop Hop episode I didn't realize I needed, and Grime's Pupil was just like the Grime Sprig team up episode is just so much fun, and I like how it also stole. I like how this week gave the planners just it gave them some wins, and I had faith that they would get them. I just didn't realize it'd be this soon for Hop Hop. I like how the planners, their connections, their ability to connect with other people in Amphibia is kind of what saves them in the day. Not saves them, but helps them save the day for everyone else. Moving forward, like Sprig listening to Grime, and just like their team up and Sprig's willingness to like pick up the Toad style of combat, and Hop Hop's gardening skills end up not gardening skills, like agricultural knowledge just ends up saving the day. And I think Impact, our friend Impact said it best, how for this Proteus arc, like each of the characters had played a role in actually like succeeding in this mission. I liked how that played out. But with that concludes this week's recording. And next week, we'll see you guys next week for the long-awaited flashback episode. That's gonna be fun. Say goodbye, everyone.
I'll see you guys.
Bye.